Hello and welcome to Saturday Q&A Live. Good to see you. Good to see you. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Let me know where you are joining me from. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. This is Saturday Q&A Live. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. We are coming to you live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Let me know where you are joining me from, even as we prepare to begin. How are you, good people? How are you? How are you? How have you been? Welcome to Saturday Q&A Live. Please take a moment, share this live on your platforms to invite someone else to join us just as we prepare to start. Feel free to let me know where you are joining me from. Let me know if you can get me well. Please share with someone else, so that we can have this conversation together. How are you doing, good people? How are you doing? Welcome to Saturday Q&A Live. Please share on your platforms. Invite someone else so that we can learn together. We have an interesting conversation today. We have chance to ask and answer many questions. Today we are focusing on side hustles, even as we answer very many other questions from different areas. Today we are focusing on side hustles. There are several questions that have already come, and we will be answering them even as we say a few things about side hustles. So invite someone else you think can be interested in learning about side hustles. So please share this on your platforms. We are coming to you live on YouTube, live on Facebook, and live on Instagram. So wherever it is that you're joining me, please share with someone else. Share this on your walls so that someone else can be able to join in even as we have this conversation. We should be starting in the next 1 minute. So you have a minute to share with someone else. If this is your first time on this page, please take a moment and follow me, subscribe to my YouTube channel if that is where you're joining me from, and I'll be glad for us to be able to journey together. This is where we meet every other day to talk about money and everything in the world of money. So we talk about money, we talk about business, we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly in the world of money. So if your ears are itching or love hearing conversations that are related to money, then you are in the right place. Please follow me on all social media platforms of your choice. Look for Coach Roy Okonji. That is the person that is speaking to you this moment. We have a few seconds just before we begin. Let me know where you are joining me from. Let me know where you are joining me from, and I'll be glad to recognize you even as we begin. Right, and our time is here. Keep sharing, keep sharing, keep sharing. Good people, keep sharing so that we can have as many people as possible join us to have this conversation together. So once again, we are here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever it is that you're joining me from. This is Saturday Q&A Live. I am your host, Coach Roy Okonji. This is the page called Coach Roy Okonji. And this is where we gather every day to talk about money. We come live on Wednesday. We call it Wednesday Night Live. We pick a certain topic and we do justice to it. We gather here every Saturday from 8 p.m. East African time, same time for Wednesday, to just ask questions and respond to them. And once in a while, we choose to focus on a particular area of concern. Like today, we are talking about side hustles. But this is where we meet to talk about money every other day. There are posts we share here every other day. So there are very many posts, if this is your first time here, that you can interact with, which will trigger some positive thoughts in you as far as money and business development is concerned. So a big welcome to all of us. Once again, if this is your first time joining me, please take a moment and follow me. Take a moment and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll be glad to partner with you as you seek to get better and improve your relationship with money. That is why we are here. That is why we do what we do every other day. So a big welcome to all of us. And as is always the norm for us, we start with picking a few highlights from the week that has been. And I have 3 highlights that I've picked. Number 1 was from a question that I posted here this week, and I asked you to tell me which work or which job or what is this thing, the hardest thing that you have ever done to create money, the hardest thing that you have ever done to create money or to get money. And people swung into action and people said a lot of things. Some of them were very touching, some of them were very very disturbing. I must admit, some of them were disturbing, some of them were interesting, some of them sounded like they were fake in the ears of some other people. But that is life. We all have a story. We all have a journey we have been through. And people came and shared about their journeys. And people came into the inbox because I had said if it's sensitive, feel free to slide into the inbox. And people came into the inbox and I shared a few extracts from the inbox. And you people saw what people have been through, the things that people have done, to be able to get some money, right? So some stories were very touching. Some stories were bordering on some criminal activities that some people had been through or some people had done. Some stories were bordering on defilement. We had cases that were really, really touching. I don't know what you have done, the hardest thing you have ever done to make money yourself. If you were not part of that conversation, the conversation is still here at your own free time, especially on Facebook. You will be able to see the extracts that I was picking from my inbox and posting them anonymously, for us to just be able to appreciate what people have been through as they try to make a shilling, to make a dollar, to make a kwacha, to make whatever currency it is in a bid to be able to make ends meet. What is the hardest thing you've ever done to make money? That was a big highlight that I picked. Number 2, I also asked you a question about the experiences you have with microfinance institutions. What experiences have you had with microfinance institutions? And you people came in big numbers. You said your own experiences. Very many people came into the inbox and you told me what you have gone through in the hands of microfinance institutions. Some people have had a very nice experience. Some people have had a nasty experience. Some people have lost a lot of money. Some people have lost their assets, which they had used as security because of very trivial reasons or because of dubious dealings and things like those. But that was a big one. I also don't know if you have ever had an opportunity to interact with microfinance institutions in your own country. I don't know what your own experiences have been like. Feel free to share with us, and we'll be glad to interact with that. Lastly, there's a story I shared. This was not my story. It's a story I shared from one Duncan Motanya. It's a story that had been shared by my good friend Silas Nyanchwani. And it was a story about how at some point he had hoped to invest in a mobile clinic in Kisii. So he bought a van, he spent some money, bought a van, but then the process of getting to start the mobile clinic became tedious to the extent that it became obvious that this was actually a project that was looking like it failed from the start. So while he was just on the verge of giving up, an idea to convert the van into a hearse, for carrying departed bodies of departed souls, came into the picture. And so he quickly converted it into one, and he shares a nice story of how he found himself at loggerheads with his mother, who was not comfortable, a hearse parking in the same compound, with them. And so this reminded me of a number of you that have actually come for one-on-one consultation because of the challenges you are having with your community for starting a business that is related to death. Okay, and some communities believe you will be attracting bad omen. You will be calling death into your environment. And I have always said this is a lucrative business in my own view. In fact, I think one of these days I need to consider joining it, because my view has been, when you get into a house business or a mortuary business, you have a morgue, you are embalming bodies of departed people. But these are services we need. These are services we need. So sometimes we pretend we don't need them because of cultural inclinations or things that we think, or just because we fear death. So on one hand, we will condemn them, but on the other hand, we know these are services we need. So my view has been, when you get into this business, you are not dealing with the dead. Actually, you offer these services to the living, to the relatives of the departed souls, not the departed souls. You cannot trade with dead people. So it would have been a big deal for me if you're trading with dead people, but you're dealing with the relatives of the departed. So you're not dealing with dead people, you're dealing with their relatives who are still alive. My own views. I don't know what your views are. So that was another big highlight from the week. So I don't know what you thought about it. If you have not gone through it, you can find it on Facebook. It's a very interesting post that was done by Duncan Motanya. Right. So once again, a big welcome to all of us. We always start by just picking a few highlights from the week, and those are the highlights we have. Allow me to welcome a few of us. Like I said, feel free to let me know where you are joining me from, and I'll be glad to recognize your presence. Our friends on Instagram, good to see you. Kabra Debra, I can see you. Fatma Gula, I can see you. Gidinji Mwai, I can see you. JD Mbaya, I can see you. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us today. All right. Anindo Sylvia, I can see you. Thank you so much. Good evening to you. Langat Kipkorir, you're saying I'm loud and clear, joining in from Kericho. Once again, please keep sharing this. Keep sharing this on your walls. Let's invite someone else, even as we get to talk about side hustles. Please invite someone else you think can be interested in this. Please share this on your channels. If you're on Facebook, please share this on your platform so that your friends can also be able to be part of this conversation. Milka Muteo, thank you so much. I can see you from Doha, You can hear me loud and clear. Thank you so much, Milka. Gulliver Ndimba, thank you so much from Zambia. Thank you for opening the door for our Zambian brothers and sisters. Good to have you here. Aumanyar Ajuoga, thank you so much. Joining in from Kisumu, as always. Pleasure having you. Priska Kiragu, always tuned in from Kahawa Sukari. A pleasure having you. Mwangi wa Masharia, tuning in from Nyeri. Good to see you. Good to have you here. Please keep sharing. Keep sharing this on your walls. Let's invite someone else to join us as we answer these questions and as we talk about side hustles. Masi Wafula, thank you so much joining in from Ukunda. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. Rotich Kibet, Patrice, good to see you from Mombasa, Kenya. Good to have you here. Esther Wambua, thank you so much from Nakuru. Pleasure having you. Dominic Okongo, I can see you from Komarok. Always a pleasure hosting you. Victor Amuka, joining in from Runda. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. Jakapunda, thank you. Good to see you here. You're saying that you're a teacher and you're sharing that your side hustle is doing well and you thank God. It has never interfered with your main hustle. Thank you so much for sharing. I can see you're a good student, picking from what we spoke about on Wednesday. Joachim Dokretz, good to see you from Toy Market. Good to see you. Good to see you. Bernard Lukoe, following from Isiolo. Good to have you once again. John Kagika, always a pleasure having you. Joined in from Nairobi. Favored Beryl, good to see you. Happy New Year. Good to have you here. The hardest thing you keep doing to create money was to take a step of faith, following the definition of faith coupled with prayer and action, and you have seen the hand of God. Benjamin Kiplimo, joining in live from Kuwait. Good to have you. Good to have you. Good to have you. Grace Modi, I can see you from Qatar. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure having you. Always a pleasure having you. Favored Beryl, you say you fear microfinance institutions because of the exorbitant interest that they keep charging. Right. Thank you for sharing with us. You say anytime you prefer borrowing from SACCOs. Okay. And you say you sell insurance and you have seen some communities that don't embrace talking about death. Yes. The issue of death is a very big one. I think I need to tell you a little story just before we start. If I forget, please remind me. Wilson Nganjo, thank you so much. Joining in from Malawi. Isaiah Monda, good to see you from Thika. Always a pleasure having you. George William Wamala, thank you so much from Uganda. Thank you for opening the door for our Ugandan brothers. Myri Francis, thank you so much from Meru. It's been a while since I visited the land of Mira. I hope to visit one of these days. Okaya Chures, thank you so much from Kampala, Uganda. Dan Nalika Majimbo, thank you so much from Bujumbura. Always a pleasure having you. Samson Omoso, good to see you from Embakasi. Baton Nyondo, good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you from Malawi. Good to see you from Malawi. Ali Afonso, thank you so much. Always a pleasure having you. Good to see you from Angola. The African continent is very well represented. Akabet Kabele, thank you so much. Joining in from Spring Valley. King Barto, I can see you joining in from Arusha, Tanzania. Keep letting me know where you're joining me from, even as we begin this conversation. Once again, keep sharing. And a big welcome to those that have just joined us. This is Saturday Q&A Live. And this platform is called Coach Roy Okonji, and the person speaking to you is yours truly, Coach Roy Okonji. We talk about money, we talk about business development. This is where we gather to just learn about financial literacy and business development. If that is what your ears itch to hear, you are in the right place. Take a moment and follow me. Take a moment and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay. The second thing I want us to do is to do a quick recap. On Wednesday this week, I have mentioned that we go live on Wednesday, we go live on Saturday, and we go live any other day randomly to do another thing, any other thing that is of interest. But Wednesday and Saturday are locked. Wednesday we pick a topic and we do justice to it. So this Wednesday we were talking about side hustles, and we introduced side hustles, and I spoke about the stalemate that very many of you find yourselves in, especially those that are employed. The stalemate where you hear people talk about the danger of having one source of income. You will come here and I will tell you how it is the biggest financial catastrophe that I know, and you go home disturbed, wondering what can you do to have another source of income? What can you do to create another coin? And while you are disturbed, very many of you begin to think about starting a business. In fact, for very many people, the first thing that comes to their mind when a side hustle is mentioned, when another source of income is mentioned, is to start a business. And then I took us through the journey of what many of us have gone through. Those of us that are in employment, we have randomly picked business ideas that we knew very little about. We have broken into our savings account and launched those businesses. Some of us have actually borrowed money to start those ventures. And because we are very busy at the office, we don't have time to run the businesses ourselves. So we bring a relative from our villages, we pick someone in the name of an employee, and we place them in our shops. Those people do not understand our dreams. If we had any dreams, they don't understand our visions, and we leave them in our shops. They will run the shop the best way they know how, depending on what they know about business. All right. So you will be lucky to have an employee who can be reliable, dependable, and can run your venture as though it was their venture if they have some self-drive towards business. Other people will have people who are good, yes, but they know nothing about business. They don't have an attitude for business, and so they just sit there, and before you know it, your bills are bigger than the revenue and profit that you're getting from your business, and your business gets to collapse. Then number three, you might get people who have a drive for business. They're very good at business, but they're dubious in their dealings. So they end up utilizing your space to do their own business. So they enrich themselves. They reap bigger than you who is the owner of the shop, you who is paying rent in the shop, you who is paying for all the services. But they trade in your own shop and make a lot of profit in your own shop. And before you know it, you are struggling to meet the expenses of the business, and the business begins to collapse. Those are some of the realities that we went through on Wednesday. And we closed at a point because we were slightly disrupted by power. So my main camera lost power. And so we agreed that we will progress this conversation today. We will merge it with the Q&A. So you're free to send in your questions, especially questions on side hustles, so that we remain in sync with our theme. But we agreed that we will progress this conversation today. So we closed at a point where I was sharing with us qualities of a good side hustle. Qualities of an ideal side hustle. Okay. And before the qualities, of course, I confirm it is dangerous to rely on one source of income. It is dangerous. If that statement torments you, please allow it to torment you very much until you get an answer or a solution to it. You see, when you rely on one source of income, chances of you sliding into brokenness are very high. Okay, due to the rising cost of living, due to the very many other things that may happen, or if you lost that income, God forbid, it is a reality of life, you can lose that income, then chances of you sliding into struggle are very high. Number two, chances of you sliding into the trap of debt are very high. When that one income begins to struggle, you start borrowing for consumption. And the moment you start borrowing for consumption, slowly you get trapped into that snare where I lived very many of my years back in the day. All right. Number three, if you're struggling with debt and you have one source of income, it takes you very long, to battle out of that particular mess. Unlike someone who may be having some other coin coming in, you will really work extra hard, and it will take you longer to break free. Those are just some of the reasons why then you have to really, work hard to see that you can get another source of income. I hope I'm making some sense. So that is where we closed this conversation at on Wednesday this week, right? If you are not part of that conversation, at your own free time, go back to Facebook and YouTube and replay that conversation. You will be able to see some of the things that we spoke about as far as side hustles are concerned. Okay, so we ended at a point where I was asking you, is it a must that when a side hustle is mentioned, you have to think about business? Is business the only side hustle? So, and I said today I'll be trying to answer that question because it will help very many of you realize that you don't need to burn your fingers going into business you understand nothing about, you are not passionate about, just because you want to have a side hustle. And we said that can be very dangerous, because if you are unlucky, like very many people will be, the business gets to collapse, so your capital is lost, the business is lost, and it might leave you struggling with debt. Probably you took some goods on credit you will need to be repaying, or you took a loan to get the capital that you used to start that kind of business. Feel free to let us know if you have ever experienced what we are talking about, so that we can make this conversation as realistic as possible. One thing we don't like doing on this platform is speaking theory. We come here to talk about life as it is on the ground. So feel free to let me know in the comment section your own experiences. And I was asking, do you have a side hustle? If yes, which one is it? Can you share with us so that we can also learn from it? How has your experience been? And if you don't have, why don't you have? What is it that is hindering you from having one? And my prayer is that at the end of what I want to say now, you will have a little more light on where you can begin from, even as you think about side hustles. So once again, a big welcome. I can see a few people joining us just now. A big welcome to those of you that are just joining in. This is Saturday Q&A Live. The page you are visiting right now is Coach Roy Okonji, and the person speaking to you is yours truly, Coach Roy Okonji. I am a financial literacy and business development coach. I spend all my time speaking, thinking, and listening about money matters. Okay, so I love talking about these things, not because I have all the money under the sun. I wish I did. Not because I know everything in the world of money. I also wish I did. I keep learning every day, and I reckon I have not even scratched a quarter of what there is to learn in the world of money. So I urge you to embrace the spirit of learning, and let us keep learning together. Once again, please share this on your platform so that we can invite someone else to join us even as we go through this conversation. All right. I can see a few people have joined us. Can see a few people have joined us. A few questions are coming in. Let's just recognize a few people who have just joined in. Ignita Chiswa, I can see you from Botswana. Thank you so much. The African continent is very well represented today. King Bato from Arusha TZ, good to have you here. Ibrahim Conte, I can see you from the west coast of Africa. Thank you so much. Beryl, you're asking, how do you get a good staff for your side hustle? One who shares in your vision. It may not be automatic, that you will go to this place and get a good person. Sometimes it will be a process. Sometimes you will stumble upon these people in the course of your other things. You meet someone and you say, this guy can be a good one. and you earmark them. I like telling people everywhere I go, I have marked some people for something. So when I get to start a certain venture, I have some people in my mind. So I have in my head, I meet someone in a certain town, and I say, this guy can be a good one for a thing like this. Sometimes I distribute them to my friends. So it just depends. It's a process. One, you can get someone and get to train them, get them to understand what your dream for this business is. Because the person you get to employ becomes your partner in the business. Some of us want to hide a lot of information from them. Some of us want to just treat them like a tool of business, and so on. But the moment you are able to communicate so that they can also have some degree of ownership, to understand that my contribution to this business is this: I am valued, I am loved, I make valued contribution to this business, I am appreciated. And once in a while, you consider their opinion. You just make them feel they are part of the family, of your business family. Then they can be able to just feel free and be able to just discharge their duties fully. It's a process. So sometimes you will not get it right the first time. You will meet wrong ones. So when they make a mistake in your business, does not mean your business idea is bad. It just means that you met a person who is not the best fit for your business. So you get another one, and you try to pass the same values to them, and see along the way you might meet one who is able to just gel very well with your dream, with the kind of business you are running, and understand your vision, and they can actually run with your vision. Okay, so it's a product of a process, also depending on how you will treat them. Some people come when they are very good, they are mistreated by the owners of the business, and they also begin to rebel, and that might work against your business. Just know that the people you will employ in your business become your partners in a way. So you treat them like you would your other partners. Grace Modi, what are some side hustles for people who are outside the country? All right. So I hope when I say the things I want to say, Grace, you will find some little light into this. Benjamin Kiplimo, you are also asking the same question. You are outside the country. Which kind of business? Beryl, you're asking any side hustle that does not require money. Good. The conversation that is coming, we'll also say a few things about that. Dennis Wanjuki, you're tuned in. Thank you so much. Paul Mwaura, good to see you from Kilifi. Always a pleasure. Peter Oduor from Bungoma, thank you so much. Good to see you. Good to see you. Beryl, you're saying your side hustle is running a cereal business. Initially, you started as an M-Pesa shop. You stopped doing M-Pesa and mobile banking when your staff got the float wiped out. So sorry for that. One of the things we also must talk about is theft by employees. Theft by employees is one of the things that has also brought very many businesses on their knees. So you now do chicken products and slowly introducing other products. Thank you for sharing with us. Alex Ocharo, you have two hustles and they are really working very well. Thank you. Thank you. You can tell us which ones they are so that someone else can also be able to learn from it. Aumanyar Ajuoga, how do you make your side hustle independent so that your main hustle is not affected? Thank you, Auma. Let me get into this next segment, but let me remind you what we said about an ideal side hustle. We said an ideal side hustle is one that does not compete or does not put your main hustle into jeopardy, does not compete with your main hustle. Number two, I said an ideal side hustle is one that can utilize readily available resources. So it does not really have to push you into, push you out of your out of the things you can, get your hands on. So available resources for another person might be money. Available resources for another person might be a laptop and Wi-Fi. Available resources for another person might be a piece of land in the village. Available resources for another person might be the skills that they have, the experiences they have picked from their workplace or the previous places they have been or previous businesses that they have run. We said that an ideal side hustle is one that you understand, is one whose operations you understand. This is how it works, so that it can help you in monitoring. Lastly, we said an ideal side hustle is one you can easily monitor. Easily monitor. If you get into a side hustle you cannot monitor, a side hustle that requires daily monitoring, but you can only follow up after 1 week or 1 month, then there will be trouble. Okay, so that's just to remind us to keep that in mind. All right, so very quickly, I am signaled that I have some announcements that I need to make very quickly, just before I go into the next segment. 5 things that I need to remind us. Number 1, the 48-hour combo offer on the money books is on. We opened it yesterday. Those of you that have followed me for long, you know we open that 48-hour window every month. So the window is open. This window allows you to get my 4 money books. I have authored 7 books by the grace of God, 7 books. 4 of them are on money matters. 3 of them are on other life skills. So for someone who wants all the 4 money books, one of them is called Debt is Good, Only If You Master It. Another one is called Managing My Money. Another one is called Staying Financially Afloat. And the last one is called Breaking Free from the Trap of Debt. So if you want all the 4 at once, during the 48-hour window, we give the 4 at 2,500 bob. And ordinarily, you will get them at 3,100 bob. So during this offer season, then you get them at a reduced price. So that window is open. The poster is on my social media handles. Feel free to inbox and we will be glad to assist you. Number 2, I had mentioned earlier that following your request that I bring the Entrepreneurship Development Program to the public, I was going to bring it beginning 13th of February. So today we have announced officially, the poster is out. You must have seen it, or you might have seen it on my socials. The Entrepreneurship Development Program has been announced. Expression of interest is on. There is a link after the poster. The poster is on Facebook. The poster is on Instagram, is on YouTube. The poster is everywhere, on TikTok as well. So there is a link there for you to express interest. It's a simple form. You just state your name, your phone number, your email address, and the country you are coming from. Then you say whether you prefer paying once or paying in installments, 3 installments or 2 installments. So just follow the link. Expressing interest is free of charge. Okay, so the program is on. We will close the registration or the expression of interest, number 1, when we meet the quorum that we want, or number 2, on 7th of February. And we are doing this on a first come, first served basis. It's a 12-week, very interesting, intensive program on entrepreneurship. Who is it targeting? Number 1, people in business. Number 2, people aspiring to join business. Number 3, people who want to have business as their side hustle. And number 4, anyone who wants to acquire business skills. So the poster is on my socials. Interact with it. All the details are there. Most importantly, the link is there. Don't express interest in the comments. Follow the link and express interest. It is free to express interest. When we have closed the window for expression of interest, then we will send you an electronic invoice based on how you will have chosen your preferred mode of payment, whether once, whether 2 installments or 3 installments. Okay, so later we will send you the invoice where you will then be able to pay electronically before we get to start the class. Once that has been done, then we will advise on how that will be happening. The sessions will be online, so they are virtual sessions, so you can plug in from any part of the universe. Okay, so the program has got 12 lessons, 12 very interesting lessons. The first lesson is demystifying entrepreneurship, getting you to appreciate what is entrepreneurship all about. What is the difference between an entrepreneur and a business person? Might you have called yourself an entrepreneur by mistake? Might you be calling yourself the other one by mistake? And how do you qualify to become this one? What is the value of entrepreneurship in your own life, in the life of a nation, and in the life of the world? And just for us to understand the relevance of entrepreneurship. We will also learn about business ideas and opportunities. Get to your space, help you begin to see opportunities and ideas that you can begin to build businesses on. Then we will also talk about how to start a business. So we will discuss about capital. Where do we get this capital, and how do we go about it until a business has been set up and a business is running. Then number 4, we will also talk about growing a wealth mindset, because the mind is very crucial in the journey of entrepreneurship. If you go into entrepreneurship with a misled mind, with a poverty mind, with a scarcity mind, with an employee's mind, then there will be trouble. So that particular time, I will be teaching us how we can embrace a wealth mindset as entrepreneurs, and I'll help you see the difference between entrepreneurs that are wearing different mindsets and how to cross over and embrace a mindset that will lead you into growth as an entrepreneur. We will also talk about how to win with others, how to collaborate in business, how to partner with other people, how to collaborate very well with your suppliers and all stakeholders in your business. We will talk about business excellence, right? How to set your business apart and things like those. We will talk about how to use debt to grow your business. We will talk about enemies of business progress. And then we will also talk about how to pitch for business funding. If you are to approach a financier, if you want to sell your idea for someone to invest in it, what are the basics that you must always be able to remember? Right. So in a nutshell, it's a very beautiful program. Another thing I must mention is that this is not a new program. I've been running this program in collaboration with corporate entities. And I mentioned it last year when we were talking about business ideas and opportunities here. And some of you came and said, why don't you also bring this to us? Right. So it is now here for you to express interest, so that then if we are good to run, then we start running on the 13th of February from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So every lesson is 2 hours. Very practical lessons, and I have no doubt that this will help you in your business journey. So I have done this with several corporate entities. Last year alone, I did this for 3 corporate entities, some entities more than 1 cohort. So it is something that I am not testing on you. It is something that has been tested. Some of those people, I continue to coach them one-on-one. After we went through the program, I continue to work with them in their businesses, to just be able to see that they are growing. So I welcome you to take a moment and look at it. Announcement number 3, the financial parenting video for this week went out on Tuesday on YouTube. If you've not interacted with it, please do. Like some of you might be aware, I am very, very passionate about parents being able to learn how we can pass money values that are timeless and lessons to our next generation. So I am doing videos every Tuesday to equip you as a parent with tips on how you can begin to influence your own children positively as far as money is concerned. So please visit my YouTube channel. Just look for Coach Roy Okonji on YouTube and be able to interact with it amongst many other videos. Number 4, as earlier announced, you can now be able to book your one-on-one coaching session online. Just inbox, we will send you the link and you can be able to book your session, select your time online, and we get to meet and have a conversation. Lastly, number 5, the conversation that we are having today, the conversation on side hustles and how you can pick your ideal one. More tips can also be found from my book called Managing My Money. Managing My Money. Okay, so thank you so much. Now we can get into the second part of this conversation. Once again, a big welcome to those that have just joined in. Feel free to share this on your platform so that we can invite someone else to also join us so that we can continue learning together. Feel free to let me know where you're joining me from. Feel free to ask your questions and I'll be glad to look at them. All right. So the question was, when we talk about side hustles, must it be business? So the best answer to this question is for me to explain to us something that I had earlier explained in a different video long time ago when I was describing what I call the 7 different kinds of income. Once you get to appreciate these 7 different types of income, you are able to see which other kind of income can I plug in? Which one looks favorable given my circumstances? So the straight answer is that a side hustle does not always have to be business. That's where this conversation begins. This notion that you must have a business on the side is misleading many people, and many people are actually losing money because they are getting into ventures they don't understand. Okay, so it does not have to be business. And if you choose that it will be business, then please observe some of the things we spoke about and some of the things I'll be talking about here. So allow me to very quickly break down the 7 different kinds of incomes that you can have. As I break them down, ask yourself, which ones have you embraced? Which ones do you have? How many of them do you have? As much as it's practically possible, you can try to have as many of them as possible. The first type of income is what I call remuneration income. Remuneration income. Remuneration income is the kind of income you receive in exchange for your time, in exchange for your sweat, in exchange for your skills, in exchange for your expertise. The income you get after spending your time somewhere, doing something for someone, and they pay you at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month. For those that are employed, that is the kind of income I'm describing, remuneration income. For those that have are working as casuals, that is the kind of income I am explaining. So this income takes your time, this income takes your energy, this income utilizes your skills. It may not require capital. Many times it does not require any capital. Okay. So that is remuneration income. Allow me to say that there is no limit to how many remuneration incomes you can have. So for someone else, I can look for another remuneration income if I think that that is what I am comfortable with, as long as, like I have said, it does not compete with your main hustle. For example, if I am an accountant, which I am not, but if I was an accountant and I am employed as an accountant in an organization where I work from Monday to Friday, from morning to 5 p.m. or whatever time, I can choose that I have a lot of time on Saturday over the weekend. I can choose to use my accounting skills and knowledge to consult for small businesses, to help them do their books of accounts, to help them do their returns for tax, to help them do, those things. They will pay me remuneration income, and that will be a second one apart from my main one, as long as I know I am doing it during a time that I am not doing for my main one. And I told you my work is, to simplify these things. I have no intention of making these things to be technical, to be complicated. I just want to break this to, a level where all of us can be able to appreciate and to digest. Okay. Once again, if you are loving this conversation, please share it on your page. Invite someone else to join us as we learn this. Feel free to share it. Feel free to share it. Call someone else. Please help me get this information to as many of us as possible. Once again, at your own free time, for those of us that are following on Facebook, there are those 3 dots on the right of this page. If you pressed them, it will give you a place where you are you are able to invite your friends. Please invite all of them if you can. It will just take you a few seconds and you're done, so that we can grow this community and continue to learn together. Just help me be able to reach out to another person. It is the easiest, best way that you can partner with me to get this knowledge out here. And thank you so much in advance. So that is remuneration income. And I was giving you a simple example just to tell you that you don't have to earn one income per category. You can choose to earn several. Okay. Someone else might be employed in another firm where they work during the day. And in the evening, these days we have got online platforms where people can, offer their other services. So there are people who will during the day be employed and they are dedicated. In the evening, they spare 2 hours to serve another client who is outside their country virtually, and they get another set of remuneration income. I hope I'm making sense. So the question I'm asking you here is, how many incomes are you receiving from that first category? So look at yourself, examine yourself. How much time do you have on your hands? If you have some time left on your hands, you might consider seeing whether you can be able to get another set of income from that first bracket. I hope we are flowing. All right, I can see comments both on YouTube and Facebook flowing in very thick. Let me also recognize those of us that are joining in on Instagram. I can see you, Mercy, I can see you, Susan Ngugi, I can see you, Mbui Junior, I can see you, Richie, I can see you, my brother Bernard Sambirir, I can see you. Thank you so much for joining on that particular platform. Thank you so much, those that have just joined us this moment. This is Saturday Q&A Live. This is what we do every Saturday. We gather here from 8 p.m. East African time to just ask questions and answer them, questions that are related with money, questions related with financial literacy and business development. So if that is what your ears love hearing, you are in the right place. And if you know your friends who love doing that, please extend an invitation to them. Okay. Francis Kangwa, thank you so much. You're asking, how can you have them in Zambia? I think you're asking about the books. If it's about the books, for those that are outside the East African borders, Then you can be able to access my books on Amazon. Just go to Amazon, look for Roy Okonji. All my books will be there, and I'll be glad to serve you from that particular perspective. If you encounter any challenges on Amazon, feel free to inbox us. Our WhatsApp number is always on our YouTube page, always on our public communication channels. Please be able to inbox, WhatsApp, and we will be glad to guide you accordingly. Grace Mod, you're saying the time has put you out. Well, so sorry, I don't know whether you're going back to work or whatever it is, but this video will remain here. You can always plug in at a later date and see what we are talking about. Sophie Gazani Giver, you are saying that you are following. Clement Ochieng, you are in after a very long time. A big welcome to you, my brother. Good to have you here. Okay, Moses Musonda, you're saying that you want my books. How can you be able to get them? Just inbox, we'll be able to respond. And please tell us where you are so that we can be able to guide you appropriately. Okay, so that was the first type of income. So as you think about the conversation of side hustles, you can choose to consider another remuneration income. You might also not be employed today. You play in the other ones that I'm about to mention. But now, having mentioned remuneration income, you can also ask yourself, do you think you have time or you have skills that you can also offer others and they can pay you? So you can also jump into the remuneration income bracket. The second category of income that you can have is what is called profit income. Profit income. Profit income is what you get from your typical business, where you buy items at price X and you sell them at price X plus some margin. Okay, so ordinarily, this is what many people have been going to. This is what many of you have been rushing into. When you think about side hustle, you've been going into business. Business will give you profit income. You buy goods at a certain price and you sell them at another price. We call it profit income. Profit income. So you might be employed. You are in the first category of remuneration income. Now I am asking you, do you think you have some understanding? Because the business world is a different world. So it needs you to have an understanding of that particular world. Then carefully pick your idea. I told you on Wednesday that this whole drama begins at the point of picking your business idea. If you pick something you don't understand, there will be trouble. Allow me to repeat here what I have always told you, that in the world of business, every idea, every business idea is a brilliant idea, and every business idea is a bogus idea. It depends with a lot of factors in between. Okay, so that is profit income. So before you get there, be careful how you pick your idea, gauge your understanding of the idea, get your own commitment. How passionate are you about this idea that you want to start? Then look at your available time. Do you think you have time to curate a business? A business is nurtured. You might be employed, yes, you don't have time during the day, but you must be in a position to monitor your business closely, especially when it is a new business. You cannot afford to run it on remote control 100%. It will not work. So if you don't have the passion for this idea, you will not monitor it. You will get tired. You will give up. You will come from the office, you are tired. You don't even have the drive to visit your shop and see how things are happening. So you have to be careful at the point of selection of your idea, and then gauge yourself, get to see. Then look at the capital required and see whether it is money that makes sense to you. So that is profit income. That's category number 2. Category number 3, let me know please if what I'm saying is making sense to you. I'll be very glad to get to hear. Category number 3 is what I call rental income. Rental income. Now, very many people mistakenly think that rental income only comes from rented houses. And that's why many people, when they hear about rental income, they shut their system, especially if they think that they don't have the huge amount of money that is needed for you to get into that particular space. Allow me to demystify this and listen very keenly, because this is one very good avenue for a side hustle for many people. Rental income can happen from very many things. It is the income you get for allowing someone else to use your asset, and they pay you periodically for using that asset. You are the one who defines that asset. So this notion that it only has to be a building, rental houses, is a notion I want to break at this time. So if you're joining me and you've always believed that rental income can only come from rental houses, please leave this live knowing that it can come from many other things. Let me give you simple examples. If you have a car and you decide to give your car out to someone else or to another organization, there are some NGOs, other organizations that will hire vehicles from people. So if you give your vehicle out for other people to use it, and they pay you at the end of the month, at the end of whichever period, that income is what I'm calling rental income. They are using your asset and paying you periodically for using it. You are earning rental income. You can also buy chairs to be hiring out in events in your villages. You can buy public address system to be hiring out in events in your village or in the city, wherever it is that you are. I hope I'm beginning to simplify things, and I hope I'm beginning to open your eyes. The reason I'm having this conversation is to trigger our way of thinking. When you hire out those chairs in those village functions, in those weddings, in those whichever events, wherever you are, in the towns where you are, in the cities where you are, the income you earn is rental income. They picked your chairs, they will return, but they are paying you for using the chairs for that time. So it does not have to be expensive. For those of you that have attended my entrepreneurship classes, I have given you some very basic examples. For example, I have shared with you a story of my friend who was hiring out wheelbarrows. And I think I've even shared in one of our lives here, wheelbarrows to construction sites. And I met him when he was giving me the story a couple of years back. He started with a stock of 15 wheelbarrows. And not 15, 10 wheelbarrows. And he was buying a wheelbarrow at 1,500 Kenya shillings. So his initial capital was 15,000 shillings. At the point we were having the conversation, he was having 200 wheelbarrows, and they rarely come back home. And he charges that time 50 shillings per day. That gives him 10,000 shillings every day. Simple wheelbarrows. Please be liberated. Get liberated. We can all earn rental income. So think about something, some asset you can buy that you can be giving out to people to use. They return it and pay you something. So you don't have to go into a trading business for you to say you have a side hustle. You can buy a certain asset that requires minimal monitoring, that does not require a lot of energy from you. You can employ someone or come up with a way where people can be accessing and making their orders of that thing, and then they use it, they return it, and they pay you for it. I've just given you a few examples to show you how simple it can get. Profit income. Number 4 is an income stream that is called interest income. Interest income is where you have some money. Maybe you don't have time, you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the interest to invest this money yourself. So you give this money to someone who has the need and the use for it. And this person pays you something on top that we are calling interest. Okay. So again, we have many platforms that will answer to many people of varying risk appetites. Those that have low risk appetites, before I get there, the crudest form of getting interest income is you becoming a money lender. You can become a Shylock and give money to people. It's the crudest form. You give the money out yourself and charge an interest. So if you have the skin it takes, then you can venture into that. The risks are very high, the returns are also very high, but you can also lose your money. But if you think you are cut for that, you can give it a shot. I have tried in the past. It didn't work very well for me. I discovered I am very good at helping others build theirs. So I stick to my lane. Yes, after my struggles with debt, at some point, I tried being a money lender. And I still have a lot of money out there. Okay? But I discovered when I journey with another person, they actually succeed in that business. I've journeyed with very many people. I've consulted with for very many people in that space, and their ventures are working very well. So I've learned to stick to my lane. Okay, I concentrate on what I am best at. All right. Because the question many people keep asking me is, Coach, so tell us the businesses that you have done. You tell us about serial businesses. Tell us whether you have run. And I tell them I can't run every business. All I need to understand are the principles of business. I have tried my hand in very many businesses. I have picked lessons. Some of them have succeeded. Some of them have failed terribly, many of them. But I pick very valuable lessons from that, and I use those lessons to teach you to avoid those mistakes and to work on the successes and move forward. So I don't have to run every business for me to be able to advise you on that business. I just need to understand how business works. And then I chose to go and further my studies. So when I went back to school to further my studies, I went to study entrepreneurship at a higher level to understand the nitty-gritties of running a business before I launched my own business. So by the time I was quitting employment to come and form my training, coaching, and consulting business, I had appreciated some realities in the world of business. So take these things we are talking here very, very seriously. I don't have to run your type of business to know how or to be able to advise you because the principles of business are the same. The types will be varying. The dynamics will be varying, but the principles of doing business are the same. Okay. So that is the crudest form of getting interest income. You can also give your money to the bank. By the way, when you put your money in the bank, you have lent your money to the bank. Whether you know it or not, the bank records that you have lent money to them. In fact, your savings are recorded as liabilities in the books of the bank. And that's why the bank rushes quickly to convert it into an asset by lending it out so that they can earn interest from it. So if you have money lying idle in the bank, you are a big philanthropist, because you're actually just donating privilege to an entity that is performing very well to keep using your money to enrich themselves, but you're fine. So you can go tomorrow and now renegotiate. Tell them, hey guys, you've been sitting on my money. Can you now give me something on top of my money? That thing is called interest. So the banks will give you a relatively smaller rate, but it is better than zero coming. You can also lend money to your government through treasury bills and bonds. Different countries have got different avenues of doing it through your respective central banks. Get to learn how that is happening, and you will be able to earn some interest from that. You can also lend money to some corporate entities. Once in a while, we have companies asking for money from the public. Not when you buy shares, no. Some companies will be floating what we call corporate bonds. They are calling for money from the public. They promise to pay you interest. That is called interest income. Another person uses your money and they pay you something on top. So if you are employed and you don't have time, this might be another option for you. It does not require monitoring. You just need to pick very well where you will place the money, and you place the money and you get your returns. Income number 5 is what is called dividend income. This is where you invest in another person's business. You become part of the ownership of that business. And when they make profit, they share with you the spoils. Those spoils, we call them dividends. Those that will go to invest in the stock market, when you have invested in the stock market, you are not trading. You buy shares and you sit on them. You have a long-term strategy. You sit on them, and that company makes profit. They declare dividends. They will share with you dividends. So when you receive that, you receive dividends. Some of you receive dividends from your circles. So we call that dividend income. Income that you receive for investing in another business, and that business has shared their profit with you. I hope we are flowing very well. Number 6 type of income is what is called capital gains. Capital gains. Capital gains is where you bought an asset at a certain price, an asset, and later you sell at a higher price. It has appreciated. So this is what happens when, for example, you bought a piece of land at 200,000 Kenya shillings. After a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, you sold it at 1 million. The difference is what we call capital gains. The gains that we get from the sale of an asset that we bought at a lower price, and now we are selling at a higher price. Capital gains. So if you are employed and you also don't have time, but you have some money at your disposal, you can also buy an asset that you deem to be appreciating, and later on you can sell it and you get capital gains. The people who also invest in the stock market, you know, the stock market can give you 2 incomes. The stock market can give you the first income that I have explained, the dividend income. But number 2, if you choose to trade, to sell the shares that you bought in that company at a higher price, the difference is also capital gains. So I hope we are flowing very well there. Capital gains. Number 7, and the last one for today. But I hope your eyes are opening as we talk about this. Let me know in the comment section. The last one for today, the 7th kind of income, is what is called royalty income. Royalty income is where you allow another person to use your ideas to make money from them, and then they share with you the money they make from those ideas. So you came with a concept and you allow other people to use that concept to make money, and they share with you that money. Let me give you some examples. Number one is franchises. Franchises. For example, we know that KFC is not an African enterprise. KFC, the one for Kentucky. But if you realize that you come from a place that has potential, then you can reach out to the owners and give them a business case so that they come and set it where you come from. They'll give you conditions. We will come, we will brand, we will do this, we will supply you with this, the formula for our chicken, we will give you this, this is where you'll be buying this and this and this. Then when you get profit, this is how we will share. So they will give you that condition. Another example is where you have, how do we call them? Intellectual property. For example, the books that I have written, I can allow some people to make money from them, and I have made these arrangements with some people, and they share the spoils with me. A typical example is Amazon. Amazon sells my books, but they also have a library setting where some of their users borrow books to read for a period of time and they return, but they subscribe. The subscription collected globally forms the global royalty kitty. Now, depending on which books of yours they have read, Amazon divides that kitty. They will take a small cut for themselves, and then they will pay the authors because they have used the brain, the product of the authors, to make money. So they share the spoils with us. So periodically, I get a message from Amazon. I just got one this week that the payments for January have come. So that one usually shocks us because I don't know how much will come. I don't know how many pages of my books have been read from that particular arrangement, but I earn royalty income out of it. So you might be in business, you might be employed, you might be in whichever of the 6 others that I have explained. You can also choose to come up with something, to write a book, to do music, whatever it is, either something that is of an intellectual property, and you can allow other people to reproduce the same. As they make money from it, they share the spoils with you. Royalty income. Some people are creatives. So they create an idea and they can allow other people to use that idea, but they come up with an arrangement. From whatever you make out of this, my cut will be this. Okay, so I hope we are flowing. So those are the 7 types of income that I wanted to share with us today to help you realize that you don't have to do business as we know it for you to be having a side hustle. So look at what can work for you. Look at your own circumstances and pick something that will not jeopardize your main hustle, something that will not put you on the line of losing money unnecessarily, something that will not send you into stress, into depression because you have lost money or you are panicking or those things. So I hope this conversation helps you to begin to think in a different way. Of course, if you want me to help you out, feel free to seek for a one-on-one session. Then we can be able to get personal and I can be able to advise you based on your own circumstances. So once again, thank you so much for following. Thank you so much. Let me know what this conversation has been like to you. For those that have just joined in, a big welcome to you. If you've loved what you have heard, this is what we do here every other day. This was This is Saturday Q&A Live. Every Saturday from 8 p.m. East African time, we gather here to ask and answer questions of the nature of financial literacy and business development. So if you love hearing and learning about money, please make a date with us. Every Wednesday, 8 p.m. we pick a topic and we do justice to it. Every Saturday we come to just answer questions. So I want to believe that you have learned something. Let me know in the comment section. If you've loved this, please also help me share this message with others. Please share this on your platforms to invite other people so that we can continue learning together. Help me to also invite your friends to follow me on social media, all social media platforms. Once again, if this is your first time, please follow me. Get to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and let us continue learning together. So let me see what you have been saying, even as we seek to come to an end. Let me know what you think about what I have been talking about. Wow, we've got quite a good number of us. Right, Colin Sotachi, thank you so much. You're saying your wife, Ruth Mudhoni, is my biggest fan. She's locked in and taking notes. Thank you so much, and pass my regards to Ruth. Thank you so much. We have Moses Musonda. You're saying you are in Zambia. Good to see you. Masina Tukunda, you are late. Don't worry, the video will be here. Kevin Shithukane, good to see you. You're saying is always a blessing. Baton Nyondo, you have read all my 7 books. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for confirming that they are good books. Anyone else who has not, please interact with them. And we have got new ones coming very soon. We have been in the kitchen. We are cooking something. And very soon I will be making those announcements. Right. Evans Wamalwa, good lesson. You're getting it. John Kagika, very educative lesson. Grace Modi, you are saying you are appreciative of the session. Moses Musonda, you're saying you think you can't. I don't know what you can't. You will let me know. I will see how I can help you. Kenasi Enea, you're following from Cape Town. Good to see you. Good to have you here. Moses Musonda, money lender is a big scam. Yes, but there are others who have succeeded in it. Henry Ogalo Were, thank you so much for joining. You're following very well. Jack Omwa, you love the simplicity. I always say my work is to simplify these things. I have no intention of making any concept to be complicated. Right, Sophie Gezani, profound. Mary Kimani, you are appreciating this session. Henry Ogalo, appreciating this session, saying it was very insightful. Lukwago Solomon, I can see you. Thank you so much. You have picked examples. It was fantastic. So thank you so much, good people. I know today we have gone beyond our usual time. It is usually a 1-hour session, but it was important that we get to close the business of the day. Thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you so much for keeping me company, for your comments, for your questions. Thank you for making this vibrant. Thank you for making this practical. Thank you for just being who you are in this journey. So this video, as usual, will remain here so that you can always come back and refer to it. We will continue doing what we always do. We keep breaking them into smaller pieces and posting them to you so that you can be able to pick quick lessons quickly. Feel free to share every information shared on my platforms with your friends, to invite them to also follow so that we can continue learning together. So I want to thank you so much. I want to wish you all the best. May God bless you in your ventures, in your aspirations. Once again, remember the announcements that we made. The posters are here. If you want to express your interest for the Entrepreneurship Development Program, please follow that link and express your interest, and I'll be glad to see you in class. Every detail is on that poster. The charges are on that poster, and let me know whether you would want to prefer installment or you want to go once, and I'll be glad to see you in class. So God bless you so much. Always remember that you can do better. Thank you so much. The video will be here. Keep commenting, keep asking questions. I'll be looking at them later, and I'll be glad for us to continue learning together. So until next time, may God bless you. You can do better. Peace.